Yo, could we give Drake a little bit of credit? Could we stop acting like Drake isn't one half of the greatest hip hop beef of all time? Could we stop acting like he's not a part of that? Look, the reason why we call Kendrick versus Drake one of the greatest, if not the greatest hip hop beef of all time, is because it was a good battle. Sure, like I've said in my other videos, it was a battle that ended in submission, which is probably the most humiliating way to get defeated in combat sports. But it was a great battle nonetheless. It's easy to do the whole Drake pile on him. But I like that Drake kept it hip hop. Kendrick dropped a record. You know, these guys been sneak dissing for how long? Like sneak diss. I like the Drake kept it hip hop, and he came out with the diss record, the push-ups. Very direct, very poignant, and which was a good diss record. And also the tailor-made freestyle. I'm one of the few people who actually like tailor-made freestyle.
Right now it's looking like you writing out the game plan on how to lose.
I think it's so funny. This is like a parody record. This is not really to be taken serious. This is Drake trolling Kendrick. I'm from the West Coast. I didn't take the AI Snoop and Tupac thing as this huge cultural, oh my gosh, offensively thing. I thought it was a funny song. And at the time, it was a good angle. Regardless of how you feel about Drake, right? You gotta admit, he kept it hip hop and he battled. This battle didn't become a straight up decisive victory for Kendrick until Not Like Us came out. From push-ups to Tailor Made to Euphoria to 616 in LA to Family Matters, this was a back and forth. Family Matters dropped, then Meet the Grams dropped. Okay, now it's starting to look, Kendrick just has volume. He's killing Drake with volume. But it was, what I'm saying is this is a battle. This wasn't just one man. Like when we watch a really good UFC match or a boxing match, we don't call that the greatest battle of all time when a guy just gets knocked out in 10 seconds. Sure, a Tyson fight, you can be in awe of Tyson's individual performance, but you won't watch Mike Tyson knock out Trevor Berbick and be like, that was one of the greatest fights of all time. No. Maybe a great individual performance, but not one of the greatest fights. When you watch the NFL or the NBA and a team just gets straight up blown out in the finals, you're not like, yo, that was one of the greatest finals performances, playoff performances of all time. It's when it's back and forth that we regard it as one of the greatest, which is how we regard Kendrick versus Drake. Now, I know there's like a portion of you who are like stained to Drake. You believe he's a PDF file. You believe he's a culture vulture, not of the culture. All this culture talk and all this, like it's honestly becoming a little bit redundant to me because how it's not, I don't know. It's like we got to really define what we mean, right? Cool. If that's how you feel, he's stained now. You think he's an abuser and all this. I don't know. I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. I don't know this guy personally to say I don't like him or I do like him. Same with Kendrick. There are people on Drake's side who think Kendrick is a woman beater, abuser, deadbeat. None of this stuff really matters to me. Outside of the record, none of this matters. I don't care about Drake's life. I don't care about Kendrick's life. I don't want to meet these guys. I'm not interested in them in any way other than them being rappers. Like Drake is just a rapper to me. Kendrick is just a rapper to me. And I don't know, maybe I have an ability to compartmentalize. I really don't care about these guys outside of the music. I don't know them. You know what I mean? Whatever the accusations may be on either side, if they get proven to be correct, that's another conversation. But as of right now, like I don't care. I'm only looking at things in the context of the battle. Sure, Kendrick, decisive victory, humiliating defeat by Drake at the end of the day. Again, a submission. There are many ways to lose a fight. In the UFC, you got a decision, which is pretty much, you can debate a decision, whether it's wrong, especially if it's not unanimous. A split decision, some people think you won, some people think you lost. A split decision, there's a unanimous decision, which, okay, generally people feel the same way, but you can feel a different way about a unanimous decision. You could have lost and been like, well, I lost, but that could have been split. Or you could be like, well, I didn't lose at all. Then there's the knockout. There's no way to debate that. You got knocked out. But it happens. You got the TKO, which I think TKO is a little less humiliating than a knockout, because a TKO, I mean, the ref stops it. The ref stops the fight. So you don't really get knocked out. It's just a TKO. The ref is saving you from being hurt. And then there's a submission. You know, see, when you get knocked out, you can be winning a fight and still get knocked out, right? You could get caught just with a lucky punch on the other side and get knocked out, even though you were doing well the whole fight. They could just throw something lucky, you get knocked out. But a submission is literally mercy. It's you begging for mercy. And that is, you know, when you watch the UFC and when you watch cage fighting, there are certain fighters who understand this. They say, I will never tap. You're either gonna, if I'm in a chokehold, you got me in a chokehold, you gotta put me to sleep. The ref is gonna have to stop it. I'm never tapping. You have to put me to sleep. I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna relieve, defecate on myself. Everything that comes with getting choked out, that's all gonna happen before I tap out. You got me in an arm bar, you're just gonna have to break it. Or the ref is gonna have to see my arm bending, about to break, and then just stop the fight to spare me. But a tap out is something that they don't want to do. So Drake lost via tap out. It's humiliating defeat. No one's saying that didn't happen. To act like he didn't keep it hip hop, and then even after the beef, what is he going to do? He drops more records. Did they hit? None of Drake's records, like very few Drake records, really hit to me in general. And I also find it odd that some people are saying, "Oh, I used to like Drake, but now his records don't hit the same after the beef." Like you're letting this stuff paint your narrative like a little bit too much. But he dropped records. He tried to drop records. They didn't hit. But he's keeping in music, man. And then also as a Kendrick supporter, I have to say, man, I'm happy that we got something out of Kendrick. If Drake didn't respond on push-ups, we might be looking at just one Kendrick Lamar verse the entire year, which is the Like That. Who knows if Kendrick gets the Super Bowl nod at halftime show without this victory over Drake. We will be going on year 3 with no Kendrick album, potentially a year 4 next year. It will be the same old shit, like years and years and years of no music, not even like guest features. Like how many guest features does Kendrick have in the past 7-8 years? Like he's got the Like That joint, and he's got like what? The Beyonce America Has a Problem. There's very few. So, I mean, I am happy that Kendrick came out the woodwork because, I mean, the guy, we don't really get music from him like that anymore. It's almost like he's retired. So I'll say all this to say, both of these guys are hip hop legends. I obviously like one's music way more than the other. I like Kendrick Lamar's music way more than the other. But, yo, at some point, we got to give Drake a little credit, man. This is the greatest hip hop beef of all time. And it's not the greatest because one man just dominated the entire time. It was a great back and forth until a certain point. Then it was a landslide victory for Kendrick. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.